Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I could not be any more grateful. One of my most favorite sayings in the rooms of recovery is that the good news about recovery is you get your emotions back. The bad news about recovery is you get your emotions back. And I think it's a topic definitely worth revisiting, talking about frequently. I think it's one that we should constantly be aware of as we progress, no matter how far along in our sobriety we may be. This topic came in yesterday, and I thought, I was like, man, this is a perfect time to discuss it. But before I go too far into the weeds, let's be clear about what emotions are. Now, I'm not going to get too terribly scientific, but understand this. Emotions are nothing more than brain chemistry at play. It's a collection of hormones and enzymes and neurotransmitters all getting mixed around in our brain and figuring out which neurotransmitter is going to get electrically stimulated. That's all emotions are. Now, how does our brain figure out which hormones and enzymes to use? Well, our brain receives information from our five senses, our sense of taste, touch, sight, sound, and smell. And it receives that input, sends it to our brain processes that input and evaluates it, and then makes the determination on which emotions that we are going to feel. Emotions, keep this in mind, emotions are vitally important. Matter of fact, after all, emotions are what separates us from the animals. Think back to whenever you were a kid, long before you started drinking and drugging. You felt emotions. You felt good emotions. You felt bad emotions. You felt the whole plethora of emotions, right? And somewhere along the line in our lives, something happened where some type of emotion we felt, or maybe we felt an emotion more frequently than others, and we just said, you know what, we don't want to feel this emotion anymore. And so we began drinking, we began drugging. I remember a problem would creep up in my life, something would happen, and I'd be like, I just don't want to feel it, I just don't want to deal with this right now, so I'm going to go drink. Where we were drinking and drugging to hide and to suppress our emotions. That problem that popped up its ugly head, reared its ugly head, and made me go, I don't want to deal with this right now, I'm going to drink. I would go and drink. The problem stayed there. The problem was still there. What went away was my ability to deal with that problem. Every time I drank, that's what I was doing. I was eliminating my ability to deal with that problem. And so whenever I'd sober up, the problem was still there. 9 times out of 10, hell, the problem got worse. When we come into sobriety, I think we all, and I'm generalizing things here, but I think when we all come into sobriety, we say, look, we just want to be happy again. We're tired of being sick and tired. We're tired of being miserable. We just want to be happy again. And that's what it was for me. But when I made the decision to get clean and sober, I had to accept an implied responsibility. I don't get to pick and choose which emotions I'm going to feel. There's no on-off switch for depression. There's no on-off switch for anxiety. There's no on-off switch for joy. So when I made the decision to get clean and sober, I'm accepting the responsibility that I'm going to have to learn to process and deal with all the emotions, even the bad emotions that I sometimes experience. I'm thankful that I get to experience those, because for the longest time I lived my life not feeling anything. And it's almost like I forgot what some of those emotions are. When we get clean and sober, we don't get to pick and choose which emotions we feel. But we do accept the responsibility that we're going to have to deal with those emotions. So how do we deal with these emotions? For me personally, I have a couple different things that I employ, a couple different techniques. I'm going to share them with you. First and foremost, I run. I love running. Matter of fact, I had a great 6-mile run yesterday. Running for me allows me the opportunity to kind of, think things through and process things. And a friend of mine, he said, why would you want to be trapped in your head like that? Well, the good news for me, whenever I'm running, while I can, yes, think and kind of process information, what I'm doing is I'm triggering my brain to panic. My brain is more concerned with my body not getting air. So my brain's panicking over the fact I can't get air, rather than panicking over some problem, maybe like, a bill I got in the mail or something like that. So that's one thing I do personally, is I run. You can exercise. You can go on a walk. You can go play, maybe participate in some type of sport, some type of physical exercise. Because keep this in mind, this is why exercise is important. Because when you exercise, well, you're releasing different hormones, different enzymes. And that's the same thing as emotion, right? You hear people say that all the time. Exercise will clear the mind. Well, what it's really doing is it's offsetting some of those emotions. It's allowing you to your body to process and offset some of those emotions. Because if exercise also releases certain hormones and certain enzymes, and our emotions are based out of certain hormones and certain enzymes, those can be complementary. They can help each other. So that's one way for me. Exercise is a great way to deal with emotions. Another thing I do is I'm a big reader. I love reading, and I'll find it, like sometimes when my brain starts to get overwhelmed and I'm feeling these emotions, maybe I'm not really all that overjoyed at feeling, I will go and read. I'll find, my friends know that I'm a big Civil War nut. They know that I love nutrition and exercise physiology, all the science behind that. I will go and just read. If I can't run or for whatever reason, I'll go and I'll pick up a book. I'll find something I'm passionate about and I'll go read about it. Greek and Roman mythology, that's another topic that I've been reading about a lot lately as well. Reading is definitely a great way to kind of distract my brain, to kind of allow some of those hormones from that emotion I'm feeling, kind of allow those hormones to kind of subside a little bit. But there's exercise, there's reading, and then this is something that I think that is far often missed. And this is why we tell you it's important to stay connected to people, because this is probably really the most frequently used tactic that I employ personally to dealing with emotions is talking with people who understand, talking with people who are also alcoholic or who are drug addicts, that they understand what I'm going through. They might understand the significance of what it is I'm going through. Being able to talk with those folks allow me to express those emotions. And that's why we say in the Rooms of Recovery, that's why you hear me say all the time, find a group of like-minded people, connect with those people, and fellowship with those people. Talking with other people, just talking it out, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to solve the problem that you're talking about, but it at least allows you a way to channel those emotions that you're feeling and that you're experiencing. Keep in mind, I want to reiterate, when we get clean and sober, we don't get to pick and choose which emotions we feel. Emotions are very natural. They're a part of the human anatomy. The way the physiology behind it, it's what separates us from an animal. We don't get to pick and choose, so we have to accept that we're going to have good days and bad days. And for me personally, like I said, staying connected to the Rooms of Recovery, staying connected to like-minded people, at least to people who understand that I'm a recovering alcoholic and these are some emotions I'm a little unfamiliar dealing with because I spent all that time being drunk. That's why staying connected is vitally important. For me, that's the best piece of the best suggestion I can make is stay connected. Try to do something. Try to do some type of physical activity. To offset some of those hormones and enzymes that are being released in your brain. Any type of exercise is good exercise, in my opinion. You can read, and then you can also overpower maybe those bad emotions you might be feeling by trying to create good emotions, like I'll take my kids out and do something with my kids, or I'll go catch a baseball game or something. So there's ways in which you can combat those negative emotions that you may not want to feel right away. Just keep this in mind. Whatever problem is creeping up in your life that makes you want to go drink or drug, that problem is still going to be there after you're done drinking and drugging. It's still going to be there. 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to get worse. So I hope that helps, and I hope that you're able to take something away from these strategies that I'm discussing this morning. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to have discussed, feel free to drop it into an email to me, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. I'll take a look at it, and we'll see what we can do. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.